Welcome to the Work Rate Movement YouTube channel. My name is Daniel Achuka. I'm the founder of the Work Rate Movement. Today I'm here with Joe Richardson from Sutton. Welcome, Joe.
Oh, you're good.
He is a trader, investor, and also a soon-to-be dad. So So before we get into your story, Joe, please introduce yourself to our viewers with an interesting fact about yourself.
Interesting fact is, well, that's a tough question. Probably the one thing that people don't realize is like I'm part Caribbean. Like my grandfather emigrated from the Caribbean to here, so like 2 generations ago I was a Caribbean. He's from Barbados, so like people don't really realize because I'm ginger. They think like just like from Ireland or Scotland or like. but yeah, no, it's true, innit? Like, legit, like I'm partially mixed in it.
Oh, great. Can you speak patois?
No, no, that.
No worries. So as a child, what were your passions?
From an early age, like I loved basketball. Like I've known you for years, like since we were young playing basketball. So I loved that. I was committed. I always wanted to push part that to the best I could be. Especially at a young age, I'd do anything to make money. Like I'd do anything. Like I'd bust my butt for anything. I could do any job, any work I could do just to make money, and then I'd use that money to make more money. So I've always loved making like that opportunity, the thrill of like being able to create more from what you've got. So that's always been a passion of mine. Things like that, just like numbers, like the kind of like the patterns of like anything. Like I loved maths in school. I loved all that sort of stuff in it. Like, that was probably my biggest passion. But basketball probably to the top when I was a child, number one.
Jeez. So me and Joe, when did we meet? Was it we were 14? I was 14. You were 15, right? We played at a local club together for around a year or 2 years, and ever since then we've just remained in touch. And yeah, you went on to play basketball in America, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I went into so when I finished college here in England, I was like, I feel like I got the exposure I wanted, so I wanted to go to America and like show like what I could do, like play ball, like show in front of the like best like players, best teams, the best opportunity I could give myself, like in the situation I was in.
So what lessons did you learn from that whole experience of playing in America?
My biggest lesson probably was like to like humble myself a lot because it was like a whole nother level of like basketball. Like there was so many, like here in England, like you'll know there's so many like much more like the average height of a player kind of pushes to like 6'8", and if you get like a 6'9" player, you're looking at a big guy. But out there, like there's teams full of like 6 players more than 6'9", 6'10". And like probably the second game I was out there, I was playing against like a guy who's in the NBA now, Terrence Ferguson. I played against a guy who's in the G League at the moment called Trey.
What league? What league did you play in whilst you were in America?
It wasn't like a specific league. It was kind of like you had organized games for like exposure. So we had like tournaments, we had like a holiday invitational tournament. We had like a Thanksgiving tournaments, things like that.
Right.
We had those sort of things, and then we had like games against like junior colleges. So junior colleges would invite you for like a weekend of like a tournament. So it'd be like 6 or 4 teams, and you'd play one team on a Saturday, and then you play another team on a Sunday, or one team on a Friday, one Saturday, one Sunday. Like it varied. You'd always kind of like. So at one point we went to a middle of nowhere, like this college JUCO, and we played about 2 other colleges plus their own college. So you obviously got exposed to 3 different junior colleges who were obviously looking to scout players for their teams. But yeah, it wasn't really like league based, but it was more like with the respect that kind of like the preparatory schools in that area. It was kind of like the respect of being that powerhouse in that kind of area.
So you then went on to play basketball in Spain.
Yeah.
And what lessons did you learn over there playing in Spain?
Probably the lesson I learned out there was like basketball wasn't more about like speed or athleticism or like skill. It was just like we had like some not scrubby players in a sense, but like raw talent who were just IQ was out of this world. Like it was just out of control. Like they were just able to find passes. If they were slow, they were able to get to the rim without even like having to like change speeds. Like they were just able to move very well. And I feel like because I was used to reading, reacting to the fast like fakes and the jab steps, the slow ones used to catch me all the time because I thought they were so slow. They're just like I'm getting faked out all the time. But yeah, it was a humbling experience both times. I played with some of the best players I've ever played with out there. I played with like multiple good players who really like took my game to the next level, and I met a couple good guys I'm still in contact with today who really like had that level of game that I've never seen before, who really like showed me how to improve my style of play.
Well, it sounds like a great experience. So after basketball didn't work out for you. You went on a move to a different venture, trading and investing. So what got you into that avenue?
Ooh, I've always liked the foreign exchange market as something that I can kind of like look into and make money from. So like nearly 3 years ago, probably a little bit longer, I heard about this trading from a colleague of mine, and he was like doing it, but he was like, he kind of like taken a lot of like a small amount of money and taking it quite far. So I was like, oh, I'm interested in doing it. So he showed me a website to look at called babypips.com. Had a look at that, scrolled through all that, just looked at it, and I saw like, all right, cool, this is like interesting. So I eventually got through like a few months of here and there, like looking and reading. Then eventually, like one day, I was like, I saw, I can't remember, like an Instagram ad or something of like a trader, and it's probably like a fake one where these, they're probably like using commission and stuff. But I'm thinking like, you know what, like I met another trader as well on Instagram called Coben FX. Well-respectful guy, helpful guy as well, great mentor. And he like showed like the possibilities of Forex, and I was like, yeah, like, I want to now take this level of like intelligence and take it to the next level. So I thought, you know what, the possibilities are endless with trading. Like there's so many ways to trade. So I was like, you know what, I could do whatever. I can escape the 9 to 5. So let me put my all into it.
Wow. There's a misconception on trading out there. People say it's gambling. People say it's unethical. What is your view on taking risks, especially when it comes to Forex trading?
I feel like Forex trading in general it's always going to be a risk, because you always risk something to make something. But I feel like if you trust your analysis, sometimes your analysis of like the market never goes your way, and you've got to kind of understand that fundamental keys play a part in it. And sometimes, like even if it'd be like a human error of yourself, that you might misread the chart in your own perspective, because different people like analyze the charts in different ways. But gambling if you look at the casinos and stuff, the odds are always in the house's favor. But with trading, you can make those odds in your favor as well. You can make it more into your favor than a casino would be if you threw your money into like the roulette or the blackjack. So the way you do that is obviously through your analysis, through your learning the fundamentals, watching the news, looking how the market play out. And so you can get that edge above essentially the casinos, who are the market makers, and optimize it and then make the money from it. So you can, and I always say to people, only risk 1% on any trade, because at the end of the day, if you lose 3 trades at 1%, and then you've lost 3%, then you have one trade that makes 5%, you're now up 2%. So you need one winner of those 3 to make something.
Yeah. That's sound. That's pretty sound. So we are coming out of this lockdown slowly but surely. What opportunities were you able to exploit, financial opportunities were you able to exploit during this lockdown?
The opportunities I took upon being in this lockdown was to where I work. Like we were able to take time off and go. I was able to take 12 weeks off, full pay, and like for my own safety. So best, I wasn't furloughed. The company paid me full, and I said so. I was able to get some time to myself and think, you know what, I can get up early, do my chart, and get all my analysis done. Really break down my charts. Really take my game to the next level. And so what I did over those 12 weeks was really take my trading game to a whole nother level, to another level of consistency, where that's the point where I was like, I got so consistent. I was in the point where I was like, I was getting to the point where I was messing it up because I was trying to be lazy about it, but optimize the free time to be able to monitor trades, to monitor my how I analyze, watch videos, keep up with the news, watch the news. Like I really like optimize, because a lot of people who obviously got furloughed or lost their jobs even, like they jumped on that trading wave to make more money. And I was always already on that wave beforehand. I was already doing it. I was already in depth at that point. But at that point, that was really the 12 weeks I needed to really take my trading to the next level, to be able to say, all right, cool, I could really take this to a full-time level, even a business level, by creating something of how I learn and teach people how to trade as well. So that really like gave me the boost. I made more income from it as well, helped to boost up my life as well. So yeah, like it's a win-win. Essentially, more money into your account makes more bonus anyway. So good, more money, more happiness, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, that speaks volumes of how you were able to take a negative situation and find the opportunities and exploit those opportunities and make money for yourself. Even for me, during this lockdown, I've learned how to trade. I've learned Forex trading. I'm currently Forex trading with a business group. You also got me into investing as well. And it has literally just changed my life, changed my view. So for those of you at home or watching this video wherever, if you're going through a negative situation, try and find the opportunities that could really change your life, because they are really, there's really a blessing in every situation. So it's always good to remain positive, just like Joe, just like I'm doing now. And yeah, just trust the process. So in your own opinion, going back to trading, what is the biggest misconception about money?
People always say to me like, oh, money doesn't make you happy. But I believe money doesn't make you happy specifically, the currency itself. But I believe that it generally does bring happiness, because you got that financial freedom to do what you want, spend time with your family, spend time with doing what you want to do. You can travel, you can see people that you haven't seen in ages. You don't have to spend so much time at work, because when you work for a company or you work for someone, you trade your time for money. But if you trade your money for time, then you're living the dream. And if you're able to consistently make it from your like laptop or your phone, then I feel like you're in a position where you're able to enjoy your life. Like a lot of people, like the older generation who've worked like 40, 50 years, like they'll have a holiday once a year or twice a year. Like, but now there's a whole generation of people who are exploring the world, traveling, using their money to enjoy experiences. And that's what I believe, that forex trading for me brings the opportunity to go abroad. Like I went to Dubai last year. I went to Amsterdam multiple times. Like things like that. I like to enjoy my life, and I feel like with more money, it gives you that opportunity to do those things. Go out for dinner more. Like have a date night. Have a treat your mum. Like see your mum be looking happy. That's the sort of happiness that money does bring you. And I feel like people just don't realize that. Like people in this day and age, there's a bunch of people, there's a good majority of people who like to live that 9 to 5 life because it's easy. It's a standard. They save up for a mortgage, then they move out and they pay the mortgage for 30 years or 20 years. And then it's like, you say you follow the same pattern as everyone else. And then you kind of get to the end and you think like, what have you done? But then if you look at the people, like the one TV show I look at, I really like to watch, and this is for everyone who is called Rich House, Poor House. It's when people from the poor house go to the rich house, and the people from the rich go to the poor. And you always hear from the rich people how they started from nothing and they build their business up, and you see their life and you see their freedom and you see how, and a lot of the things that you do hear as well, which is obviously people probably point out, is that they don't spend enough time with their kids. I don't
Mm,
get me wrong, like the poor people do spend a lot of time with their family, but I feel
mm,
like when you get that financial freedom, you're able to give your kids that opportunity to do a lot more than you probably did when you were a kid. Like they can go
100%.
out. Yes, I feel like as much as it's a sacrifice you've got to make, I feel like you can
Mm,
still create that bond. But I
mm,
feel like for the value, in my opinion, I'd sacrifice some family time to give my children the best opportunity in
mm,
the world for anything.
mm, mm, mm. So a lot of people don't get the concept of financial freedom, not trading per se, but financial freedom and aspiring for financial freedom. So in your own opinion, what do you think is wrong with our education system and how people are being taught about finances, in the area of finances especially?
Um, I think people aren't getting taught enough about finances. I think there should be a subject on it about managing finances, more like accountancy and things like that. Like everyone, they should focus on that. And when you're in the situation of like, you know, I guarantee there's probably multiple people who've got an overdraft, who've got credit cards, who've got loans, and
Mm,
I think people aren't taught the but what is the consequence of taking those things out. I feel like
mm,
we've got to the point where there's a lot of people who are around our age, even younger and older, who are taking out these into debt, and then they get into the cycle of becoming more in debt, and they don't know how to get out of it.
mm,
And so that's what I feel like people, I mean, they're not taught about how to manage their money, how to budget, how to save, how to pay for things, how to do anything, how to finance a car, how to get a car, how to get the best out of things, even looking at like investments, how to invest in things, how to buy a house, how to look to even rent, like looking at all the
mm,
bills, like the breakdown. So I feel like there should be some sort of subject that prepares people for when people leave at 16. A lot of people at 16 do go into full-time work. I feel like they aren't prepared for it. And
mm,
but then there is some people who are, but then there's a lot of people who go into that world of work and they think, oh wow, like I've got this money, and then they get a credit card out, and then they can't pay the credit card, and they get a loan, and it goes back and forth. And I feel like they're just not prepared, and then it ends up like in a bad cycle of debt. And I think that's
mm,
just probably the main issue
mm,
in today's
mm,
system, is that we just don't teach enough about finances at all.
mm, mm, mm. So our system needs to teach us more on finances and accounting. So yeah, I learned from that. I learned from that. So now moving back to your personal life, you are now soon to be dad. How are you feeling? And what's the transition been like?
Um, it's exciting, but it's nervous at the same time. Like
Mm,
you're literally like becoming like, when you fill out these forms, you come up with like zero dependents, but then now you got one dependent now, and you essentially like you've got to worry about, you know, your child. You've got like there's so many things that you don't realize, like the appointments, what you need to buy and what to look at. I'm telling you, there is so much you need to buy. Like I never thought about how expensive it is.
jeez.
I never had siblings, and I had no idea. Like I was only a child,
Oh
so
wow.
exactly. So I was like, as soon as
Mm,
my girlfriend literally like saw, like I heard like what you have to buy, and she's like, oh, it costs this and this. I was like, geez, like I was not prepared. Like I went into it like
a huge shock.
100%. It was just a massive financial.
Mm,
Someone's living under your roof, and there's like your genetics is part of you, and no matter where you go in the
mm,
world, that person is part of you, and it's an amazing feeling to feel like you create another generation of like your family. I'm the first like grandchild of my mum's parents who have had a child, who's having a child now. So obviously my grandmother is going to have a grandchild, a great grandchild. I mean, to like see,
mm,
be around, and my child will be able to see them as well. But it's obviously like it's still nervous. I'm still preparing. I haven't really held babies before. I've never been around children much before. Like I'm very nervous, but at that I'm ready to take on the challenge and kind of take on that responsibility, because I feel like at this
Right.
point in my life, it was kind of like, if I leave it another year, then it's going to be, I'm just going to be another mindset. I'm going to be in a different, like, whole nother level. But then I feel like if I do it now, I feel like it will humble myself down and I'll be able to focus more.
So finally, what advice would you give to someone who is aspiring to, or is going to be, or looking to be a dad / a trader?
The advice I give you is to be a dad is obviously like, be prepared. Like, don't go into it thinking it's going to be an easy ride. It's not. It's a lot of like, where you're gonna live, how you're gonna survive, where you're gonna move to in a few years when they're bigger. Like, a lot of people, unless you have one child and you're sticking to that rule, after the first 1, 2, 3, even 4, even more will come along, and you're gonna end up like, where are you gonna live? Like, how are you gonna afford to do what you need to do? And so you've got to think of the finances and make sure you balance your finances out. You're not in paying too much, not able to give your child the best possible life. If you aren't, you need to find a way to change it. And the way I chose to do that was obviously through trading. Day trading is through stocks and investing, because that is the opportunity where you can find, you can make more money from your laptop and your phone, and then you can grow, and you can, and especially even if you're like up in the middle of the night with your child, you can sit on your phone, you can read, you can watch a video if you're having to, do anything, change them or something. There's always an opportunity.
So the last question: what is next for Joe Richardson?
What's next for me is that I'm trying to start a business and to teaching people how to trade. I'm trying to teach people how I learn, I'm not going to teach one style. I'm going to teach multiple styles, how people feel the best way to read the market, because some people read it in one way, some people read it in another. I'm trying to collab with a couple people. I'm already in talks with one called this group called Click Funders. Just shout out to them. They're a group who, if you're trying to start new trading, you basically, if you haven't got the capital, you can essentially rent a bigger account off of them with more capital, so you can then trade with bigger money, and you can take an 80% profit from that, and they cover the full loss of the account as well. So look at them. I've already been in. The guy who runs it, the guy who owns it. He's a really respectful guy, trying to help people with opportunities in trading. I'm just trying to create more connections in my trading industry, stocks industry, investments industry, and just become a better person in general. Become fitter, mentally more healthy, mentally. Make sure my trading style is perfectly refined, so it's really clear and ideal, and it's just easy for people to understand, and then it's easy for me to teach people. I'm trying to now get into a consistent full-time bet trading and teaching, rather than just full-time kind of trading and just doing that from home. I want to be able to teach and take an opportunity in it. That's what I'm aiming to do.
Oh, great. So we'll be posting all the links down below in the description. And yeah, that's it for now. Thank you so much for your time, Joe. If you enjoyed this interview, please do like, comment, and subscribe.